It is my firm resolve and fixed purpose to give my all to the Lord, my time, my talents, all that I am or ever expected to be, to the establishment of the building up of the kingdom of God upon the earth. True happiness is not found in doing what you want to do, but learning to like to do the things you ought to do.
I really appreciate you guys saying that.
Doesn't the presence in your house just feel more cleansed?
Praise the gay away.
Pray the gay away. I was going to say. Yeah.
I feel like if you're in the FLDS, just thinking about being gay is way too big of a sin.
He would be threatening a child to hit that child and be like, unless you can be happy, smile and be happy. And like, she's like crying. He's like, oh, are you not gonna be happy? And like, you're gonna run over there and hit her. And so she's like, happy. So it's like shutting everything down and trying to pretend that you're happy. But that's how all of us in the order were.
He loves me and my husband, and he hopes one day we separate and redeem ourselves and find God and pray for forgiveness or whatever for ever having fallen in love in the first place. Two adults loving each other is a mortal sin, apparently.
So weird. What a weird verbiage too. Like, I respect you. I respect your decision to go to hell.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody. This is the Jaden Jeffs Podcast. Today I'm joined by Josh Kingston and the one and only Amanda Rae, who is today our co-host and here to keep the podcast on track. Josh, if you want to introduce yourself and tell everybody anything you want to say or anything you want everybody to know about you. And then Amanda, if you want to like tell everybody anything you want them to know about you and like set us all in order and whatnot. So
in order? Okay, Josh.
Set us all out of order in this case. Yeah, I'm Josh Kingston. I came from the same, many of you probably already know Amanda from Culty Cup of Coffee. Came from the same group as she did, the Kingston Clan. They call themselves the Order.
Mm-hmm. Order members.
But the media, Fox News calls them
Kingston Clan, right?
Kingston Clan.
But their legal name is DCCS, right? Davis County Co-op, Davis County
Cooperative Society. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Go by many names.
Mm-hmm.
Scandalous.
Yeah. And I'm Amanda Rae. I came from the same place. My dad has 3 wives. First wife is my mom's older sister, and the third wife is my dad's own half sister. And my dad has over 30 kids. How many kids does your dad have?
I think 26.
Oh.
26,
within
27.
3 wives?
With 2 wives. He only got the 2.
Mm.
In our group, you have to have 3 to make it to the highest degree of glory. So he just barely.
He's not going to make it into the celestial kingdom.
Not yet. I mean, he's 80 years old. He still has a chance.
He's 80?
He's in his 80s, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I think my dad's in his 60s.
It wasn't for a lack of trying. He's tried to marry more girls. He just didn't.
I heard, and maybe we could cut this off if you're uncomfortable with this part, but I heard that your dad tried to marry Michelle. Michelle that you had on this podcast.
Really?
Oh, I have heard similar things to that too. Yeah.
Wait, who's your dad?
My dad is Roger Kingston, so he's is he 50? I should know this. 56 or 57?
I think 56.
I was under the impression for the longest time that he was 57, and in our group, it's supposed to be like super significant to see your father's number everywhere. So after I left, I would see 57, and I'd be like, oh, that's my dad, spirit saying hi. But it turns out you ended up telling me it's 56. So somebody else's dad's been saying hi.
Wait, is that Paul's full brother or
half brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just older brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have the same grandpa, but yeah, different grandmas. Who's your grandma?
Lavenda and Louise.
Okay.
Are my grandparents.
And Louise is your mom's.
Mm-hmm.
And you're one of the few people that actually has a Kingston name.
They have left, yeah. Most men don't leave that privilege from that group.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you feel like you were one of the more privileged ones in the Kingston group, or?
I think people with the last name Kingston are. I wouldn't say myself just because I didn't really tie into a lot of the things that they expect of us. But my brothers always had that type of privilege. Like, didn't have any issues getting wives in there.
But you didn't really want wives, or did you?
Oh, no. No. Yeah.
You don't want wives? Why not?
He wanted husbands.
I wanted a one hubby and no wives.
When did you know that, though, about yourself?
Probably like 11 years old. I was aware that I was attracted to men. So, and then I always had the plan to stay in order anyway, just so I can have that familial tie with them. But overall, it wasn't doing it. I tried dating women too after I left. I was like, maybe I can go back and have wives, and I was not having it. I'm like, you guys are no fun. we can go to a club, but that's the end of it.
Okay.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting to hear. You've heard of some of the men knowing that they're gay but still living polygamy.
Not really.
You've never had anyone in the FLDS come out and say anything like that?
Mm-mm.
Really?
You guys are probably more deeply seated repressed in that area than we are.
You think that's what it is?
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, because there's quite a few that are still closeted in, but then there's one that I know of that's left, like Nephi. You know Nephi.
Mm-hmm.
And he had multiple kids. I guess he didn't live polygamy, but he was married, had multiple kids, and then he was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm gay.
That's tough.
Good for him, though. But yeah, I mean, as long as it comes around eventually.
I think they tried to make him do conversion therapy. Did you hear about that?
I haven't heard anything about Nephi, but that doesn't surprise me whatsoever.
Yeah. So they didn't have conversion therapy in FLDS?
What's that?
Praise the gay away.
Pray the gay away. I was
Pray
going
the
to
gay
say.
away.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're in the FLDS, just thinking about being gay is way too big of a sin.
I
So
think
you
so
get it.
too.
Yeah.
It was kind of similar, like mum's the word as far as the gay is concerned. I didn't know what gay was when I knew I was attracted to men. I was just like, I'd see Charles Ingalls on TV watching Little House on the Prairie, as sad as that is. That's all we were allowed to watch. But I was like, Charles, damn boy. And then eventually I learned what gay was. It's probably what I am. Yeah, I tell you.
Yeah, that makes
but mum's
sense.
the word they don't talk about.
Yeah.
Charles Ingalls.
Yeah. He was fine. So,
Yeah, I feel like I'm still uncomfortable talking about gay people.
Really?
I don't blame you.
Yeah, I'm uncomfortable talking about it.
Yeah. Well, because it was so just not talked about, huh?
Yeah.
I wonder
I feel like I'm
why.
going to say something wrong.
Yeah. Or
You
like be
don't have
offensive.
to worry. I understand where you come from too. So it's like, it is deep seated. It's even in my mind. Sometimes I see a gay couple kissing. I'm like, ew. And then I'm like, wait, I'm married to him.
You're like, am I homophobic against myself?
Yeah, I do have to, like, just because it's so instilled, that's the lifestyle we came from. You and I both came from similar. So I don't blame you for having that instinct to be like, But
Yeah, pal. That's so
I
similar.
can joke about it sometimes. I just don't know if I can do it appropriately.
Yeah.
Because
Like
it's
trying
pretty
to find
easy
your
for me to
footing.
walk up to some random guy and be like, it's been like a couple weeks since I told a dude he was hot, but you're like smoking hot,
see, there's nothing offensive with that. I'm sure he was fine.
Compliment.
Yeah.
I
That
do.
makes guys uncomfortable.
Really?
It's funny, That's
Yeah.
actually fun to do.
Yeah.
Tell guys that, like you're serious.
Like you're so.
Kind of gauge where they are at.
Yeah. If they take it too offensively, then you're like, this dude, he's gay.
Really?
Oh yeah, I can see what you mean.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Gauging
Yeah, when
that.
I was in the closet, I was like very hostile towards. I was exaggeratively acting like I was homophobic, and when it came to women too, I'd be like, I'd exaggerate that too, be like, oh, she's so fine, just to try to prove to my straight buddies that I'm straight.
Yeah.
So it twists the mind up a little bit.
Do you think it tricked people, or were people like, nah, he's gay?
I think it was both sides. I've had people tell me that they were like, yeah, no, straight guys don't actually talk like that.
You're like trying so hard to pretend to be straight.
Yeah.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about your childhood and growing up, and like how was it different from? Because are you quite a bit older than Amanda, or
It was only
about the same
a
age?
few years older.
Few years older.
Yeah, I'm 36 right now.
Okay.
So,
So did you grow up kind of in the same social life as Amanda? And how was that?
we saw each other at church functions. Yeah, we weren't like super close because we were different age groups. But
Yeah. And different families, but also I feel like he in the same breath of like that Kingston name and the differences with having that, you had some pretty big responsibilities because of that. Like he was supposed to, you've heard about when Paul was getting questioned for, because Paul has a few incest wives. So then there was like the state was trying to get DNA samples of these incest kids. So then he put those families in hiding. And Josh was supposed to go basically live out in hiding with them and run the families. And you were only like
17. The district attorney had released some warrants to collect DNA from the children to determine which ones were products of incest or which ones were the product of underage marriage and things like that. They didn't want me to go out originally. They had basically sent them out on their own, and we weren't allowed to know where they were either. So a few of my sisters just vanished off the face of the earth. They never talked about it ever. Like my parents didn't tell us where they went. So I had to just eventually noticed they didn't come around anymore.
What the hell?
Yeah.
They just thought you wouldn't notice, or they just didn't bother to tell you?
I don't know what their frame of thought was, but basically once I figured it out, I asked my dad, and he's like, don't worry about it, they're safe. And then a couple years later, they came to visit, but they weren't allowed to tell us because they thought that somebody would let it slip to the state that they were visiting, and then they would get collected.
So pretty much Paul has some wives that, they're like way too related, half sister or something.
Yeah, sisters,
half brother or sister.
Sisters, nieces, and then I guess you were saying like because the marriages were really underage,
Mm-hmm.
and so if they trace the child back.
I think they were just very uncomfortable with the practices that they were doing all together, and so they were trying to find anything that they could that tied to illegal activity, and so, but it's very difficult because polygamous men don't claim the children on birth certificates, and there's just not a paper trail to tie them back.
Yeah, I had Andrew on the other day, and he was telling me that his mother and father were like half siblings.
Andrew who?
Andrew Robinson.
Oh yeah, Daniel's kid. So Daniel and Patricia were half siblings.
That is crazy.
And Daniel, did he tell you the daycare story? How he told her like, I'm gonna marry you in daycare or being babysat. That's
No.
how when he knew that he was gonna marry his sister.
That is so
really?
twisted.
When they were still in diapers.
That is so twisted.
Wait, so then my question is, how did you get put in charge of the family out in hiding?
No, so eventually they did come to visit out of the blue, and they still didn't tell us where they were hiding. And they said they were there just for the day to wrap some paperwork up or something like that. I can't recall, but I begged my sister to let me go back with them because they told me they were in hiding alone, and it didn't set well with me. Mm-hmm. And so she called Daniel, which is Paul Kingston's brother and right-hand man, who was married to my sister. And she asked him, and it took her a while to convince him a little bit, but finally he allowed me to crawl into a windowless van with 0 seats with a bunch of kids.
What the heck?
They didn't have seats in it, and windows were blacked out. Didn't tell us where we were going, and ended up in a single wide trailer in the middle of nowhere with 3 wives and 20 something kids.
In one trailer?
For a while, then it was. Eventually they split them out. Paul's favorite wife, the leader's favorite wife that was out in hiding, she got her own little farmhouse, and then the rest were still in that trailer.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Could you tell there was jealousy?
Oh yeah. And you can totally understand the jealousy too, because when they were all in the trailer together, Paul would only visit his wives to impregnate them. So he timed it with their cycles and things. And then he would stay with one wife one night, the next wife the next night, and the next wife the next night. And 2 rooms were next door to each other, and the other one was across the hall. So you can kind of imagine. And there were only 3 bedrooms in the trailer. So all of those children were sleeping in the living room and in the breezeway outside. And
that is the level of efficiency you got to put on to have the world record for the kids.
That's the efficiency I strive to. I look up to.
Yeah.
You've been trying really hard to get that number.
Yep.
Dang.
I've always wanted to have 1 million kids that I don't have to support.
Is your husband pregnant? Just kidding.
He could be. You never know.
That's crazy.
Efficiency won't solve that one.
Just imagine that trailer with all the kids. You just like open the doors, kids here and there, open the cupboards, there's kids in there.
Oh yeah.
Kids everywhere.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I feel like all polygamists have to have a trailer house.
Why?
You don't qualify as a polygamist if you don't have some sort of a trailer house.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
We're
At some
white
point.
trash.
It's the most cost effective.
I don't know. It's just one of the requirements. Everywhere I go and see polygamists, they have some sort of a trailer house somewhere.
In the Kingston group, they have a practice. A lot of the men will purchase apartment complexes. Well, then they'll marry women to fill up those apartments, and then the women will pay them rent. So they're paying their mortgage, and they're profiting off of their wives, and they're sleeping with these women, and they're forcing them to have multiple children, and they're not providing for them financially unless it's the first wife.
Isn't that insane?
They're institutionalizing childhood neglect is what I tell people. And I have brothers that try to defend this, and they'll say, well, outside of this group, most of the men will impregnate a woman and then take off on her, and they'll abandon the children. I was like, what you're doing is worse.
Yeah, you're making them suffer.
You're forcing them to have all these children. You're still abandoning the children because you don't pay for them financially. Mm-hmm. And those women on the outside who do have men that leave them, those women are then free to find a man that's going to support their children.
Right. And free to not have to keep getting pregnant every year, too.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like what they're doing is worse, in my mind. But,
Yeah.
But it's so different than FLDS, though, right? Because FLDS, from my understanding, they at least try to take care of the women.
Yeah, they do try to take care of them a little bit more. I wouldn't say they actually do take care of their emotional needs at all, but physically, I feel like they take better care of them.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, there's only so much you can do. One person can do. You're spread thin when you have a large family, but when you have an insanely large family, there's only so much you can do for them.
Yeah. So is this the only time Paul's really put his wives in hiding? Because my dad did that a lot, like always putting his wives in hiding, you know?
Why did your dad do it?
I think part of it was just he was paranoid, but he always had his wives over in some secret house in Colorado, you know? So is this kind of the only,
Yours was in
They
Colorado,
did end up
too.
in Colorado. They're very lenient in Colorado for polygamy and incest for some reason.
Yeah, they're more lenient. But also, everybody over up in the mountains in Colorado is either like growing weed or there's some rich kid that can have a house over there, or they're, you know, polygamous or something. So
Weird.
it's like not associated with Utah. It's kind of a way to get away from it all. They're more lenient over there. Everybody's kind of doing their own thing. So
Yeah, Paul ended up buying a large property, and the neighbor came and asked us if he could use the back 20 to store fertilizer. And we were all too naive to understand that he was growing magic mushrooms, which we saw, but it didn't click. I'm like, I wish I knew back then. I would go collect them. Damn.
I would have had some snacks.
Good time. I'd go on a trip.
yeah. So when you were a young child, did you have a pretty normal childhood? Like, did you go to school, have a pretty chill childhood? Was your dad very mean, or was he like pretty chill? You know,
that's a broad range of question.
Well, because every Kingston kid that comes on, I feel like is like, yeah, my dad like beat the shit out of me, and so I was just.
So basically, this is his way of asking, did you get beat?
Yeah.
Did your dad beat the shit out of you?
I'll start with I started my YouTube channel that I haven't been nearly as focused on as I should be, but it's called A Life Out of Order because I'm out of the order. And then also it was very unstable and like inconsistent growing up. So my life was a tangled mess.
So it was in the order, but out of order.
Oh, life out of order in the order. Yeah, exactly. See, he gets it.
Exactly.
Now, my dad, I heard from my brothers, he was very aggressive to the younger children before I was born. And then at some point, my mother died very young. And we all had to move into one house together. And for those 2 years of chaos, and he was very, very aggressive and physically abusive. And so was his wife, who was pretty young at the time, in her 20s. They did grow out of that. And right now they're pretty respectable as parents, I would say now.
Yeah. I think, too, the reason why you hear everyone from the Kingstons has been abused, I mean, tell me if you agree or disagree, that whole idea of like the children need to be obedient at a young age. And so I remember them talking about like even a 6-month-old baby can obey. You just got to teach them. And by teach, it's like they would slap them. And sometimes like they're like slapping them like, quit crying. Like that's how dumb they are because they want the respect of this child.
Yeah, they get frustrated that a child can't obey the way that they're preteens and teenage children.
And I think that's really harmful because like I think I was pretty shut up by the time I was 3. In the FLDS, they have this thing like if a child is not obedient by the time they're 3, they never will be.
Oh my God.
Why 3? This is a random.
Just if like you can give them some leniency before that, but by the time you're 3, you gotta be perfectly obedient.
Wow.
Or you're gonna be a piece of shit your whole life.
So do you think that was 3 years old is when you kind of shut off all emotions?
100%. Yeah.
They're still shitting in diapers and they're expecting you to pay your bills. Like,
yeah.
It's funny.
Is it? Just kidding.
It's not. It's fucked, but.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's one of the big reasons I like struggle so much to say what I think a lot of times.
Yeah. Because you were shut down your entire life for having emotions and feelings. So then now you're like, is this a true thought or emotion or feeling that I should be having? And then for us, it was like happy was the only thing that we would get praised for. So my dad would literally be like, he would be threatening a child to hit that child and be like, unless you can be happy, smile and be happy. And like, she's like crying. He's like, oh, are you not gonna be happy? And like, you're gonna run over there and hit her. And so she's like, happy. So it's like shutting everything down and trying to pretend that you're happy. But that's how all of us in the order were. Everyone was just this zombie that's pretending to be happy.
And you're constantly in fear of what you're saying or doing is going to trigger your parents because they were so short-tempered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kids need to be allowed to be children. A lot of people on the outside will like spank their kids to punish them. And I'm pretty much against that too. But you got to think, if you're an adult and you think that that's an acceptable way of teaching your child something, why do you stop spanking them when they're old enough to fight back? It's because you're okay hitting something that's defenseless. And as soon as they're old enough to defend themselves, then you're like, oh, I better think of another way to communicate or get my point across to them.
That's
so yeah, I think
a
it's
good
abusive.
point. Yeah. They're only hitting them when they're too young to defend themselves.
And I think if you're not capable of resolving, I'm not a parent, but I am super preachy.
But you also helped raise your family, so you had to be a parent, kind of.
If you're not capable of getting a child in line or accepting that they're going to be out of line, sometimes I don't think you should be a parent.
Right.
Well, you know how you were saying one of your dad's younger wives was kind of mean. Sometimes I get some shit for talking shit on dad's wives.
Yeah.
And when they were 15, 16, 17, I was just like 8 or whatever. And they were being mean. And I was like, yeah, now I get to talk shit on them now if I want to.
Yeah, I'm allowed.
And everybody's like, oh, but they were a victim. I just wonder, do you feel like, from your view, even no matter the age or the gender, if you stay in a cult like that, don't you think you like become kind of a tyrant or whatever?
I mean, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
I used to call my grandmother a warden because she has so many grandkids. She just had to be super strict. So I think it does. They do kind of evolve into that type of person.
Yeah. I can sympathize for the women because obviously it's obvious that the women are put through a lot more. Like they're the ones pushing out like a kid every year. They're the ones, like Josh was saying, like paying the rent, you're not getting any support, having to like all these expectations on the woman. But does that mean that they're not also an abuser? You know, there comes a point where it's like you can sympathize with, and like even with my mom, I'm like, I feel bad. She was manipulated into the relationship with her sister's husband. She was very young. She was also a victim of the situation, but then long enough time, she became a perpetrator too. Yeah.
And I give my dad's wives a lot of grace too. I'm just saying. Like, I also get the privilege to shit on them.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, you should be able to speak your mind. No, I respect my dad's second wife a lot. She took our family in when my mother died. She took in way more children than she was expecting to, and she did a really good job. It was just those couple of years that things were hectic for all of us. Like I was abusive to my siblings. Everybody was just chaos because it wasn't. You go through a tragedy and your families are all forced together. You're gonna have some conflict. So I do give her grace there, but I'm like, yeah, she did beat the shit out of me for a good minute there. I will admit that. And
when did your mom die?
So I was 9 years old and she was 45. The order does not do regular checkups at the hospital. They don't believe really in Western medicine, or they say that, but I really think it's because their families are so large they can't afford medical for everybody. Yeah. So she died from a very easily preventable condition at a very young age. She never drank. She ate pretty healthy. And yet a blood clot knocked her out. Like we went to school, came back, and she was gone. It happened that fast.
Oh my God.
Just like a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. We didn't know she was sick or anything or had any issues. It was just spur of the moment.
She never complained of anything? Any pain?
My brothers say she complained about, what is it called? Varicose veins? Yeah. And they thought that had something to do with the blood clot, but.
Damn.
Yeah.
I was getting scared that I might have a blood clot because I'm bruising. Like, look at this. There's like all these bruises right here, but
what is that on your wrist?
That was from the bar last night.
Was that okay?
Wait, you got beat up at the bar?
No, I did play volleyball, so maybe, but that's weird to have that many bruises from volleyball. But then I spiral. I looked it up, and it was like, it could be a blood clot. So then I looked up all this symptoms.
Oh no!
But I get paranoid.
That's when you get a panic attack.
Yep. I'm like, I'm gonna die. I know it. It's happening right now.
WebMD will do that too.
I'm still that way though. With are you like this where because we were so educated anti the hospitals, it's so hard to get yourself to finally allow yourself to go get checked out?
Oh yeah, I do put things off way too far. There's just for like an example. I'm pretty sure I had asthma as a kid because I would have these really sharp pains that would come up randomly, and when I would inhale, it was like a blade was coming out of my stomach, like stabbing me in the lung. And so I would not tell my parents about it. I would just try to sit and breathe through it. But one day it got so bad that I felt like I was going to collapse, and I couldn't breathe for a good few minutes. So I ran inside, and I was very hectic about it. So they loaded me into the car to take me to the hospital because they were able to acknowledge that there was an emergency situation. But then on the way there, they're shoveling powdered vitamin C into my mouth because they believe in natural healing and they think vitamin C is the cure-all. And I'm like, I cannot breathe, and you're forcing
powder,
clay-like powder. It mixes with my saliva, and it's like choking me with clay. And so I'm still having this asthma attack, I believe it is, looking back. And so I stop, and I'm like telling them, no, I'm good, you can stop now. And so from then on, when it happens, I had to sit alone quietly and breathe very slowly through it and handle it myself because I was so terrified to go to the hospital because they were going to cram clay down my throat.
Oh no.
Because they're so uneducated about medicine. But
yeah, that's what they would do. Like, I swear to God, it was like, oh, your arm got cut off? Here, drink some comfrey.
oh yeah.
Oh my God.
They were crazy. Even like my little brother Victor, so I was outside unloading stuff from this garage, and I hear him screaming. So I run over, and he's like limping. He had been playing on, my grandpa was a potato cutter inventor, so he had all these like rusty potato cutters in the back of the home. He had been jumping back and forth and playing on them and slid his foot open. His sock was like full of blood, so I lifted him up and I ran inside. And my mom was like, oh, call your dad. And so she's like taking his sock off. It's like full of blood. He's screaming. And she's like calling my dad to see what we should do. And then meanwhile, the neighbors come knock on the door. And they come in and they're like, we just wanted to know if you guys wanted to buy some Girl Scout cookies. And I thought my mom would be like, not now. But she was like, can you put me down for? She's like making an order while her kid is like screaming with blood in the sink. My dad gets there and he just had my brother hold him down and he stitched him up. He had like tissue coming out of his foot and he just stitched him up right there.
Dang.
And I think pretty sure that's illegal, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the FLDS are a lot that way.
They just do themselves.
Yeah, I broke my leg and they're like, oh, let's wait a few days.
What? See if it heals itself.
Yeah. That's not even, it's sad that that's not surprising to us at all. To me at all, at least.
Yeah.
So then eventually you got to go to the hospital?
Yeah. It just hurt too bad. Totally broken.
They're like, just try walking on it.
Yeah.
God will heal you.
Right.
So how did that affect you having your mom die at 9?
That was pretty rough. So that's actually when I started to question the order. So I would go to school. Basically, my frame of thought, even as 9 years old, is that we dedicate our entire lives to God, to Jesus, to the Messiah, whatever. And we're praying every day consistently. We had did you guys also do the 7 a.m., the 7 p.m., and then the noon, and meditation, and then reciting the order standard, all methodically.
Every day.
And dedicating that.
Okay, so you have 7 a.m. like prayer or something.
Yeah.
Right before school.
Yeah, so it's 5-minute meditation. So you like bow your head and you're supposed to meditate about like the order, whatever.
And the downfall of our enemies.
The downfall of the enemies.
Okay.
Anybody hurting the order was supposed to be like, get him.
Kill him. And then it's so culty. Everybody raises their head at the same time.
Really?
And they go, it is my firm, do you remember it?
Mm-hmm.
It is my firm resolve and fixed purpose to give my all to the Lord, my time, my talents, all that I am or ever expected to be, that the establishment of the building up of the kingdom of God upon the earth. True happiness is not found in doing what you want to do, but in learning to like to do the things you ought to do.
That's where I always...
It gets murky after that, yeah.
They added a lot to it after that, so there was always...
I really appreciate you guys saying that.
Isn't that creepy?
Doesn't the presence in your house just feel more cleansed?
Yes.
I know, right?
Fuck.
Yes. But yeah, just imagine that everyone's in a circle every day, and then you lift your head to the same
everybody
thing.
comes and gathers at 7, and then they bow their head together or something
For 5 minutes.
for 5 minutes.
Everybody in the entire order, no matter where you are. When we were at school, noon would hit and the bell would go off, and everybody outside recess in your class, you drop.
Yeah.
And
So
you're like,
you just bow your head, and then
In school,
you say
though,
that all at the same time.
I don't remember we said it in school.
we don't say it until our head comes back up, so it's quiet 5 minutes.
Yeah. You
Fuck.
hear a pin drop.
Dude, you should take a video of that.
Yeah.
That'd be
Right?
creepy.
You
Just
should.
do a 1
You'd
minute
be able
video.
to go to the school and to the parking lot when they're out recess. I guess it's creepy to
Oh,
film
right.
kids, so
When this
let's not film kids. No. That's hilarious.
Yeah. That was always something that, I mean, it's normal when you're in there, but then when outsiders would somehow get a glimpse of it, they're like, that was weird. And they would say the facing north thing was weird. Everybody for prayer would get up, turn the same direction, and then bow their heads.
The same to the holy spot was north.
Yeah.
But
Bountiful.
yeah, so we dedicate all that time to our God or whatever, and then the tragedy happens and my mother dies. So in my 9-year-old brain, I'm like, why are we giving all of this energy to this omnipotent being, and then he doesn't defend our family?
Yeah.
Doesn't protect us from tragedy. So I'm questioning. I think at that point God looked down and he turned to Peter and he said, make that one gay. We don't want him reproducing. He questions too much.
He
Make
has
him-
too many critical thoughts.
Don't reproduce that one. He's questioning me. But yeah, so that's the difficult part. But then when I started questioning the order, so after that, I became kind of distant from the order, and I would go to church just to establish a presence there. My dad would see me, and then I would sneak out the back, and my friends would go wander around until it was time for Dad to see us at church again. But yeah, pretty much the basic of it.
So, how was hitting puberty for you? Because maybe that's kind of an odd question, but I'm just curious. Well,
Why? Because it was a big thing for you?
I just feel like it's super untalked about. Like nobody ever knows they're hitting puberty. I didn't know I was hitting puberty.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know that you change or anything as you get older. So, I was just curious. Like,
They really don't talk about it in groups like ours.
Yeah.
We did discuss when we did the podcast together, we discussed Paul performing his first maturation class. And I think the state required him to perform maturation class for him to be considered an accredited school. And that's the only reason he did it. Like, it had to be a part of his syllabus
a sex class.
for him to get public funds. Yeah.
Okay.
But he didn't trust a doctor or anything to come in, because I think they'd questioned anyone from the outside coming in that was a professional, because they would see something that would question, like they'd send DCFS or something.
Or they didn't want them to give them too much information. You think,
Oh,
For the
right.
kids to know
They
what
didn't want
sex
to teach
is
them
and-
about their reproductive parts before.
And I'm sure they would come in and be like, and here's what a condom is, right? And they
Right.
don't want anyone having condoms.
Makes sense too.
So then
But
were you just confused then when you were a kid?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know what gay was, and I
Oh,
just
yeah.
knew I was attracted to men. But that's
Yeah, so
basically all the puberty was for me.
When you hit puberty and you're gay, do you just start being more attracted to men?
Yeah, I just started being attracted to men. And it was a little bit
Yeah.
weird. I was like, why do I want to kiss Charles Ingalls? That's not normal.
Charles Ingalls can kiss me.
Why am I having these feelings? But yeah, it feels normal now that I'm looking back at it, now that I have an understanding of puberty. But back then I was like, what is happening to me?
I wonder if it's similar to like girls too, because when I hit a certain age, I was like, boys. Like I would
It probably
like
was.
start
Isn't
foaming at
that
the
when
mouth.
you hit puberty?
Yeah.
When you hit puberty, you feel that way.
And it's even worse because you're not allowed to really be around them. So when you are around them, you're like, ugh, I don't know what to do with myself.
Awkward.
Run.
Was you that way with girls?
Well, I so much didn't think of them, but yeah, they started giving me boners.
What was happening to me down there?
Yeah, just had to tuck it up under my belt,
You're like, I'm allergic to her. I'm swelling.
Yeah, exactly.
You never asked anyone, like, how come this happens?
Oh,
to me?
hell no.
I guess because it was your privates, right? You
Yeah.
didn't talk about it.
Yeah, I remember the first time I got a boner.
You too?
Oh, yeah.
How old
Hell
were
yeah.
you?
I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I wonder if something's wrong with me. Almost every time I walk, I did something after that, I just accidentally get a boner, I'd be walking into our living room and I just get a boner. I'd be like, how do I how do I make this go away?
You just flap it up into your belt and tighten it. You're like, stay down, boy.
Stay down.
Exactly.
Whoa.
Exactly.
No, Nelly.
Yeah.
Because I hear that because obviously I don't have a painter, but I've heard that at that age, like a gust of wind can make it hard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a problem.
God, it was a problem. I was always trying to hide that. It's a good thing I had we always wore jeans and several layers of clothes, keep that thing strapped in there.
Pitching a tent when you're sleeping was the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, but you had people coming and checking in on you at night because he was saying that he had to have his hands above the sheets.
Yeah, we did. I would say by the time I was 13, 14, that people didn't really come in the room very often.
Oh, they were
but
strict.
yeah, when we were 8 and 9, yeah, people come put your hands above the sheets. Yeah.
Wow.
So crazy.
That is insane. We didn't have much privacy because we were all crammed into one room together, but
When you were, because you guys moved into the second wife's home, how many kids did you have to share a room with at night?
so there's an old Victorian home that his second wife was living in. She had gotten from her parents after they died. It was a pretty small Victorian home, but the bedrooms were tiny. So we had 7 boys crammed into 3 sets of bunk beds into a tiny, tiny room. They did have 2 massive rooms downstairs, but my parents considered that too far from their bedroom and away from their eyes or whatever. Thought that we'd be doing things wrong, so they didn't allow us in those rooms. So they turned those into storage rooms. And
Are you serious?
Yeah, and I'm like,
so they
you have
had the space?
yeah, they had the space. They didn't use it. My dad was a hoarder. I think I've mentioned this to you before. So anytime he saw open space, he didn't think, oh, comfort for my kids. He thought, oh, my useless documents and stuff can sit here. Yeah.
Dang.
So he was pretty strict because he didn't even want you to be very far away, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He even set up an alarm, like a laser alarm, to prevent us from using the bathroom at night without him being woken up.
Really?
Yeah. Because the girls' room was on the other side of the alarm and he didn't want us walking past the girls' room.
What did he think you guys were going to do? Fuck each other?
I think so. I mean, we're from a polygamous group and that's pretty common. So at least he thought that there was a potential that could possibly happen. And he wanted to take all measures to prevent that, even if it made us super, super uncomfortable. Even if I had to wake up in the middle of the night, piss out my bedroom window because I was so afraid of waking the entire house up.
Oh my god.
Just to use the bathroom.
Yeah, there was some stuff like that. We're don't go in the boys' rooms. But I think it's because they were fucking their sisters. My dad was with his sister having kids, so he's don't be going in your brother's rooms now.
That's so fucked.
Yeah, but then it creates this weird relationship where you can't actually have a genuine relationship with your sibling, because it's you're being accused basically of sexualizing them when you're a child and don't even know how to do that. So then it creates this monster. You kind of talked about that, right? Where it's you felt like your body was this evil thing.
Yeah.
Because they projected that onto you.
Yeah. I have kind of a weird question.
They've all been weird this far.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Yeah, stay consistent, Jeffs.
You bet. So me and my brothers, we would I don't think any of us ever, we never saw each other even without our shirts off. Okay. How strict are, if you're with your brothers in the Kingston group, is that pretty common to see each other with your shirt off or even see each other's dicks or whatever?
No.
I think it depends.
I think we would moon each other every once in a while. And then when you just a full moon out, you just show your ass or
You guys
whatever.
did that?
Oh, wow, yeah. I mean,
Really?
not in front of adults because we would get a whooping. It wouldn't be a moon. It would be a scarlet sky or whatever. But, yeah, so we'd moon. And then we often talked about who had larger ones, which is not fun to talk about anymore. No, I'm just kidding. But we'd go in the other rooms and we'd measure, and then we just trusted that we were telling the truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you did it on your own.
On our own,
and then
not in front of each other.
Them.
Yeah, not in front of each other. I have heard stories of people in my family doing in-person measuring, visually, and I'm oh, and I'm the gay one.
You guys are gay.
That's the gayest thing I've ever heard.
Well, the reason I had to ask is because my brother's girlfriend, we were talking, when you have these family meetups, you can't help but sometimes get sexual talk going on. But she was like, you guys have never seen each other's dicks? And we're like, fuck no. She couldn't believe that. She's like, what the fuck? Every brother's seen the other brother's dick. Like, you guys are crazy, you know? And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I think in a normal world, yes.
It varies, yeah. It depends.
And me and my sisters were really weird about that stuff. Like when we were little kids, our mom would bath us all together because we were so little and she didn't want to waste water. But then when we started to go through like puberty, then it was like no more bath times. And we were all like, don't look at me when I'm changing. But then after leaving, it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah. Well, these are the kind of important things that I need to get to the bottom of sometimes. So
yeah. And it was weird too. Val said it was weird how we were raised so strict in that way, but then he got sent off to the mine and everyone was showering together at the mine.
He's like a perverted Sherlock Holmes over there.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, we need to get to the bottom of these dick questions.
Someone's got to help me. So now are you wanting to measure your brothers?
No, I have absolutely no desire.
Are you at least curious who's the biggest? That's like the ultimate measure of masculinity.
Yeah. I feel like I can't fully trust their measurement.
Yeah.
They would be lying, you think?
Yeah, they'd probably lie.
Tell them, take a picture, black it out, just with the edges showing.
And a tape measure next to it.
And a tape measure next to it. You just get the silver lining of their penis. That's not gay.
That's not gay.
Yeah.
Or incest.
I'll get my mom on the podcast and question her down about dad's dick.
Ooh, I would watch that all day to Sunday. Please do.
I have a feeling Warren has a small one.
I mean, yeah. She has that kind of energy.
He does. He has the same with Sam Bateman.
I guess we'll find out.
I mean, you can kind of question your own, like, what's mine, and I have his genetics. Does he have a small one?
I don't think he does.
Let me see your feet.
Yeah.
I heard that theory of you can tell by the tip of this to this.
Wait, what?
Oh, it's supposed to be that?
Wait, you can tell how big someone's dick is?
From the tip of their thumb.
This
is it pinky and thumb?
How do you do
I've
that?
never seen it that way. I thought it was
test this accuracy.
the top of the middle finger all the way down to like the...
So that hits the base of your taint, and then this goes...
Is that how you measure?
If you want an accurate
I don't
reading.
know if that's everybody's like...
It's a very
But if you do that.
reading.
But I don't think... You're right. I don't think that that's accurate because some people could just have micro and they're...
Some people's are growers and some people's are showers, so it depends at what stage
Why
of the erection.
is it such a big deal? I feel like men created that idea because I've
Really?
never...
It really
You don't care
shouldn't
how big
be.
people's dicks are?
I've had
shouldn't
talks with a lot of girls about it, and the general consensus, I guess, is it doesn't matter as long as it's at least average. Then they're not really going to be upset. If it's micro, then yeah, it's a problem. But I've never met a girl that was like, it has to be huge, you know what I mean? Or like talking so much about how big it is.
I would say
It's men that are always talking about how big it is.
I'd say if it fits, it's decent, but if it's stretching you out, you probably should stay away.
Yeah.
if you're a different shape when it's done.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Okay, so what age did you first... did you ever did they ever want to marry you in the order or...
Around the time that all my brothers of the same age were questioning getting married, we'd have to present ourselves for it when we felt like we were ready, and I was not ever ready. So all my brothers would go and speak to Paul, and then their entire personalities would change because he gives them a very strict, narrow list of traits that he would qualify them for the marriage. So they would all change, but I myself, they would talk to me about pursuing that, but I never presented myself. I'm like, no, thank you. And then I did leave when I left to help them in hiding when I was like 17, and I stayed there till I was about 19, and then I left the order after that. So that was about the time when I would have been married otherwise.
Yeah, because you know the process of marriage, right? Is that the man has the direction, and then he has to do the coming forward. So that's the having the meeting with Paul, getting the approval to actually talk to the girl. So your brothers were doing the deeds to like have the direction, go talk to Paul, and then Paul was telling them, okay, solve these riddles, basically.
Right. It solved the riddles before you're allowed to have the direction. Before you're allowed to have the direction, before they'll consider your direction valid, you have to change these certain things about, at least in my brother's cases. They never had a specific girl in mind. They just knew they wanted a marriage and family. And so they were told this is what you have to do.
Okay. Did you ever have direction on a girl?
No, before I hit puberty, though, I had a crush on a girl that I felt like every time she come around, my heart would start fluttering, but there was nothing sexually desirable about it. But I was very, very flush in the face, and I just wanted to be around her all the time. I'm like, I love her. But it's because she was on the outskirts of the group, and I got sick of seeing the same people all the time. And then she came in, and I was like, something new. Oh my God, it's so exciting.
So you don't know if you're gay until you hit puberty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I absolutely 100% would have never considered doing anything with a man before I hit puberty. And then the devil entered me.
Yeah.
And he never left.
Yes.
So did you feel left out when your brothers were getting married? Did you feel like the need to get married or
Absolutely
get yourself
not.
a girl?
No, it just wasn't in my nature at all.
Okay.
I didn't, there was no FOM, no nothing.
What about kids?
FMO. Is it FMO?
Wait,
Okay.
FMO?
Fear of missing out.
Oh.
FOMO.
FOMO.
FOMO. That's the
FOM.
No, I do feel like that's a little bit of a struggle for me even now, thinking about having kids, because I would love to foster children so that I can give some children that already exist a better life if I was going to do anything. But as far as reproducing, A, there's already enough Kingstons in the world. We don't need any more of those.
Okay.
And B, I did help raise my siblings and my nieces and nephews, so I don't feel like that desire that's like innate in all the humans, I don't feel like that went unanswered already. So I feel like I've already gotten that out of my system.
Mm-hmm.
I don't crave to be raising children because I already kind of did.
That's how I feel too.
But I would foster if my husband would ever grow up.
He doesn't want to foster? Well, he wants to be the baby.
Like every 6 months, I think that's part of it. Every 6 months, I'll bring it up and have a discussion with him, and then I'll gauge what his response is. And I'm like, I'm not going to push him into anything that he's uncomfortable with, but he's slowly coming around.
Yeah. For the longest time, I was like, I would want to adopt like maybe a baby, but babies are always the ones that get adopted. The ones that are just left there that no one wants are the teenagers. So if I ever did, I would want one of the ones that no one wants. It's like going to adopt a mutt, a mutt that nobody wants.
You want a kid that nobody else wants?
Yeah, because those are the ones that need it the most.
Yeah, that's fair.
Why are you looking for a mom?
I'm on.
Me?
Oh,
Yeah.
She's like my older sister. You know?
Adopting you.
Yeah.
No, it'd be fun to foster. I'm in the same boat.
And foster is like less commitment than adoption, right?
I think so. Yeah. Also, the state helps financially, and if I was going to adopt, I can't afford to adopt somebody, so the state would have to help financially.
Isn't that crazy? You can't sell your kids, but the state can sell kids.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. Marco will say it shouldn't be, my husband will say it shouldn't be a business thing. He thinks it's a business arrangement. And I tell him, no, they're just paying for the child, some of the child's needs.
Yeah.
So you're not making any money off of it. They're covering a portion of it, and you get to help too.
Right.
So in a gay marriage,
I'm the top.
Next question.
Next question, please.
No. Does both dudes call each other a husband? Or not really?
I think we'll say spouse. I'll gauge if I'm around a MAGA person and it's very obvious. I'll be like my spouse, so that they don't shit their pants.
Yeah.
But so it depends what it is. I'll be like, we do call each other husband. If it's just me or him, I'll call him Pooter Pants.
Pooter Pants?
Pooter Pants.
Well, you don't call somebody a wife.
I mean, you could if you want.
Is that you only call women a wife?
I think so.
Okay.
I think some gay couples jokingly are like, I'm the wife, he's the husband.
I do think that is pretty common.
Yeah,
actually.
like
Okay.
the one that brings home the money is the husband.
The one that wears florals. And stuff.
Yeah. Well, can you tell us a story about leaving the order? And because you went to Colorado, you were with Paul's wives. What did you guys do over there? Like, were you just hanging out, chilling in the backcountry over there in Colorado, or what the fuck were you guys doing?
Yeah, they had so like I said, they were on a trailer, single wide, in the middle of nowhere, close to Denver, probably like 100 acres of property, and this trailer was smack dab in the middle of it. And like we had also mentioned, Paul doesn't support any children that aren't his first or second wife, basically. And neither does Daniel financially. So they were expected to provide for themselves. So basically they set them up with the LLC, winterizing and remodeling foreclosed homes. And so I went there to basically oversee that. But all his wives kept getting themselves knocked up. And that's it. I mean, at least they let them stop working when they're pregnant. Mm-hmm. And so at those points when they're all pregnant, I would go do everything on my own. And then money would still go to them, obviously, because they needed to be supported. But
is that how you say somebody's pregnant?
Knocked up?
Yeah. Knocked up. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, in the order, they don't call it that. They call it a blessing from heaven. Yeah. But yeah, so basically we did that for a couple of years. I got very uncomfortable with the living conditions of the children and the whole situation. They were living in a breezeway that was uninsulated. So in Colorado winters, and it was ice cold, and they would just like cram space heaters and bunk beds, and all the children would crawl under heated blankets, and they'd all be shivering, and it was very, very uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't the fact that they didn't have the resources. Paul has access to 10% of tithing from thousands of members. So it's not that he didn't have the resources, it's that he's stingy and he wants the money to himself. And then also in Colorado, when he purchased his favorite wife, that large, beautiful country home, they had a guest house that was massive too. And they wouldn't let any of the children or myself, who was providing for those wives, live in there. I was living in a garage. And so when Paul came next time, I asked him, I said, can I please live in that guest house? I'm very uncomfortable in the garage. And he said, no, we need that in case there are any young wives that also need to come out here with us. And by that, I thought he meant underage marriages that he needed to hide from judgmental eyes. And so he was leaving that open while people that were actively trying to help him were going without any housing. And so I had decided at that point that I wanted to leave. I didn't have a vehicle or anything apart from the company vehicle. But they asked me, they can't go to Utah or else the state will be on top of them. So they asked me to drive the company vehicle back to get it registered in Utah. And at that point, I drove back, got it registered, got everything taken care of, found another man in the order that was willing to drive it back, and then I stayed. And I just never went back to the order after that. I got a job at a diner, stayed with a friend, and it was all freedom from there, basically.
Was you kind of able to go back and forth, like you could still see your family for a little bit?
They would ask me to go to church and to weddings and things, but the more radical I got to be, like I pierced my ears. I was like sinful. Mm-hmm. And I started smoking cigarettes. The more radical, they would just cut me off more and more. And then eventually I wasn't able to go to any of my siblings' weddings, and I wasn't able to do any of these things. And they'd call me up and say, you can't come for Christmas anymore. And I'm like, okay, well, that's nice of you to say. And then when I ended up coming out, that kind of cut off most of my family. So I figured out which ones were the true, like the people that I want in my life, the people that were willing to overlook it and accept it.
Was that very few?
There's about 3 or 4 that still talk to me. Only 2 of them will acknowledge him as my husband. They'll just say, how's your friend doing? Or
your friend?
Yeah. So that's always fun. They always complain about how our parents don't give enough acknowledgement or recognition to their wife and children. And they're telling me that, venting that to me. And in my mind, I'm like, you have never said my husband's name. I've never heard my husband's name come out of your mouth, but I don't bring it up because I don't want that drama. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, that's rude.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you get used to it. I appreciate the sisters I do have that do acknowledge it and things.
So how much money did you have when you left the order? Because you had been working from when you were younger, right?
Yeah, I was working from I think 12 years old is when I started. And that, I don't think they were paying me for the first couple of years. They'd just give me a candy bar at the end of my shift.
You're like, oh boy.
They'd have me in the back where customers couldn't see, and I'd just be tagging clothes for 8 hours a day. And then at the end, they'd be like, oh, you tagged enough clothes to earn this candy bar. And then when I got old enough to start thinking, where's my money? Like, why can't I afford anything? Then About 14 years old, I asked if I could have access to my money, and they all got skittish and running around. They're sending me around in circles, talk to this person, this person, this person, this person. And eventually found out I wasn't getting paid, and then they gave me the minimum hour back then, which was like $3 an hour back in the day. But they wouldn't let me have access to it for a while. So when I left, there was a few $1,000s in because they don't pay me accurately. While I was in Colorado, they promised me 30% of the income that came from winterizing and the construction we were doing, but they never paid it out. They said they had to wait until all of that stuff was over because I couldn't have a paper trail or whatever. And that was code for we don't want to pay you, basically. So didn't have a lot of money. And what I did have, they just pretended it didn't exist. So.
Yeah.
So were you part of like the more chosen bloodline? If your last name's Kingston, or if you have Kingston blood in you, are you more part of the chosen bloodline, or do you have to be one of Paul's kids to be like one of the best?
I think modern, yeah, Paul's kids, but I mean, my grandfather was one of the founders, so I'm part of that bloodline. But Paul's family pretty much took over like a tumor.
Yep. I feel like you can tell just how high up the bloodline is by the girls they allow the boys to marry. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Because there's the ones that they, no matter how hard they try and work for the order and do everything for Paul that he asks, they will never be awarded a wife. And they're always just like, pray harder, you'll get one. And then eventually, if they're lucky, they'll find one on the outside to bring in. Those are the ones that are like the lowest of the low bloodline. But then once you get up further and further, then sometimes they'll throw a bone to the ones that are higher up the bloodline.
Yeah, they'll throw a bone to give hope to the few people that are busting their asses daily for a wife. But if you're Paul's children, there's some men that I think, one specifically I believe is closeted gay. And I believe Paul learned about it and he threw a bunch of wives at him, like all within a 2-year time frame. He just kept throwing wives to cover up the rumors that were going around about his sexuality. And so his kids don't even have to work for wives. They just blink hard enough in his direction. And
I used to be like mad about it, like, wow, they just get awarded all these wives, da da da. But if you think about it, you're like a teenager and getting thrown all of these wives at you. That's like, that doesn't even sound fun.
And all these kids, hell no.
Yeah.
Nope.
It sounds like responsibility.
I mean, but I guess it does come with a lot of status in the order, so.
That's true. And they do walk around like they're hot shit afterwards.
Yeah.
So the hotter the wife, kind of the higher they are in the is that an act?
I'd say so, yeah. Paul's got some very gorgeous wives. And his kids all have pretty wives.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, that was one of my questions when I was there. It's like, interesting that this guy just seems to only have direction on the gorgeous girls of the order.
That is coinky dinky. And then he's the only one that can speak to God or get the marriage rights from God, and he happens to have the most wives.
Right.
It's funny how that works out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the same with Warren. He's the one that had the very most.
Yeah, my dad, he shook everybody's hand, and they came. The families would come, so he knew every family and who could come into his fam.
How do you think he did it? He just started to find an attraction to one of the girls, and then he would pretend that he had some kind of connection to go get that girl.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't even have to fake that much. He just pretty much needed to be like, yeah, God told me you should marry me. So
Like,
the entire society is groomed into believing he is the divine providence, and so anything he says is the golden word.
That would never be a temptation from his sexuality. No way.
Oh, absolutely not. Oh my God. I don't understand how a lot of those men think, because I could not have multiple husbands or multiple people that I was connected to that way. I don't understand why that's appealing to them.
Do you think it's maybe because they're not, because you seem like you're pretty in tune with yourself, and when you're in a relationship, you want to actually be in that relationship, whereas there's no way he has any connection with these 27 women. Maybe he has one that he has a somewhat closer connection with, but you can't invest that much. And that's why he can be okay with his kids living in this cold garage and his wife's going without because he just doesn't really care.
And they seem to have an attraction to vulnerability. They groom the girls into being vulnerable people and uneducated and sheltered. So that aspect too, they collect those vulnerable women as if they're like Barbie dolls, and then they show them all the attention like a kid showing a Barbie doll a new toy, and then put them on the shelf so they can look for more dolls, basically.
Yeah. So there's really no deep connection.
So did you do a lot of school growing up? Like, what education did you get by the time you left?
That's another facet of the inconsistencies that I feel like I was robbed the proper education. Mm-hmm. I was in outside school for the first few years, so basic public school, which I appreciate and I loved those years. But then Daniel was all over the news back then in the late 90s. And so our polygamous group became basically like mainstream in Utah. A lot of eyes on them.
For those of you who don't know, it's because Daniel Kingston basically beat the crap out of his own teenage daughter because she didn't want to be married to her uncle, which was Daniel's brother. And then that ended him in... He didn't even go to prison.
And the police found her bleeding, beaten up on the side of the road. Mm-hmm. And people in the order still believe that a drug addict pumped her full of drugs and that she just lied about him beating. Yeah, it's a whole mess.
Even though she was in Washakie, which is where he always takes the kids to
There are no outsiders there.
Yeah.
To pump her full of drugs. Story. Yeah, it was very clearly him, but they still believe it.
But so because of that, you couldn't get an education?
Because of that, they were mainstream, like I said. So I would go to church, and because my last name is Kingston, my teachers would have recently watched the news, and so they'd be like, "Kingston, are you related to this Daniel person?" And they'd ask me questions, and since I was super young, I'd come home and be like, "Yeah, they seem to know Daniel," and that made them nervous. And I'm sure other children were doing the same thing that made them nervous. So out of nowhere, they're like, "Oh, I had divine revelation. We got to start our own school," for no apparent reason whatsoever. And so they basically threw us all into a warehouse together. It wasn't a school. It was like a doctor's office with a warehouse in the back, and different grades all together. We're taught by sister wives that didn't have any credentials to be an educator. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like I was robbed that way. And slowly it did evolve into something. What it is now is currently it's a kind of a respectable school now. But I was the guinea pig. Me and that generation were all the guinea pigs. So I feel like I was robbed of that. And then getting into junior high, I begged my dad to go back to public school. He let me go for 1 year, which was awesome. I loved it. And then high school, he told me that I had to pay for Penn Foster, which is an online high school program. And they put us back in a warehouse with all the high schoolers, and they would help us cheat so that everybody would have high scores. It got so bad that there was an investigation from Penn Foster to investigate, because everybody in that specific general area was getting 95 to 100% on every single test and getting the same answers right.
So the teachers were helping you cheat?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So the teacher would it was just one teacher would sit at the desk. We'd all go study, and then we'd come back with the finished test, and she would test it, and then she would tell you which ones were wrong, and they were all like multiple choice or whatever. Basically, they gauged it anyway, so you go back and forth until it's 100%, so that they can say you're not cheating, but there's no way that you'll get under 90%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So I was robbed that way, because I think I would have benefited a lot more from one-on-one interaction with a teacher, rather than saying go sit in the corner and play the guessing game until you get them all right.
Yeah. Oop. Did you ever feel like because of the lack of education that we got, then you're like playing catch up out here? Like people's general knowledge of history, even. I was like, what? That happened?
Yeah.
You probably too. Huh?
Yeah, history's that way because the FLDS only teach their version of history.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, we were the same way. I've told you before, but they did have to have their syllabus in the school. To get funding, they had to have a specific syllabus, but they would receive the syllabus, and then 2 months prior to starting school, they would go and edit it all, and they would paste white faces over anybody in the history books that was brown or black.
Really?
Yeah, so like George Washington Carver, they'd turn him white and be like, a white person invented peanut butter. We can't tell our children that anything they're using was invented by a black person.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, well, even in the church, those pictures of Jesus next to all the children, they edited so that the one child's not black.
Really?
Jesus only loves white kids.
Wow.
What about Hitler? Do you remember learning about Hitler?
I remember speaking to people in the group, and their discourse around Hitler is that he's misunderstood.
That's true. But I didn't know who Hitler was till I went to public school and someone was talking about Hitler, and I was like, who's that? And then everyone laughed. I'm like, I'm dead serious, you guys. Who is this? But for some reason, I don't know why they didn't teach it, or maybe they just skipped it on accident with me. I don't know.
They look past a lot of things that they should. And everything in history, they edit everything pretty well. I was the same way with Tupac, though, when I left my friend group. I kept hearing about Tupac, but I was too embarrassed to ever ask who he was. And then I was walking through the mall one day and saw a blanket that said Tupac in his face. And I was like, oh, that's Tupac. And all of them busted out laughing. And then they were like texting people like, Josh just said he didn't know who. It was really, I didn't know anybody mainstream. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm a weirdo.
Dude, I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, Tupac.
Yeah.
See,
Now you don't feel so alone. Did you know who Michael Jackson was at least?
Yeah. Oh, I know who Michael Jackson is.
The king of pop.
Yeah.
you gotta know.
You know what though? There's something that I was jealous about when I first became friends with Marianne Barlow I helped her leave on Escaping Polygamy. We became best friends. And I was kind of jealous that she got to experience all of these Disney movies for the first time as an adult. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I can see the appeal. That'd be cool.
So now that you've left the order, do you ever look back and are like, man, if my childhood was just normal, I would be so much further along? Are you pretty satisfied with
pretty much every day
life?
I do have that run through my brain. Like I am content where I am now, but pretty much every day it passes my brain that, damn, if I wasn't robbed of the education, even if I was giving a standard public education, I would be so much further in life. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or if I had the social structure that a proper education would have built, I wouldn't have been so awkward in my teen years or like socially strange. Yeah.
Well, it's like, this is the thing I felt when I first left, is that the average person, and I'm sure this isn't correct for everyone, but I felt like the average person got this starting line and we got all the way back here. And we're just running to try to like keep up with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there is a positive, because I do find that there were some things that we did learn that the average person didn't. Like a hard work ethic. We always knew how to take care of ourselves because no one else was going to do it.
Yeah. I absolutely agree. I think another silver lining or a positive is that the general public is taught a lot of propaganda in history. Some of it's whitewashed or whatever. And so as an adult, I listen to podcasts and I get to see that side of it that we were supposed to be taught as a child. That's supposed to be ingrained and manipulate and brainwash us. And then I can listen to podcasts that tell the true story, or watch drunk history if I'm feeling like being entertained by the history and they tell the actual truth of it. And I'm like, for me to be learning of it firsthand as an adult, I do appreciate that more than being lied to as a child.
Yeah. The skill of, what is it called? Discernment? Is that what it is? Is that the wrong word? Discernment?
I feel like that's something my dad would say.
Oh, skill of discernment. Well,
no, it's a good skill to have.
I'm trying to say, like, how we were talking on one of our podcasts about how it's easier to point out the cults now that you've been in a cult, right?
Oh, yeah.
To see the red flags because they're so familiar.
Yeah, everything looks like a cult. To me, pretty much all politics looks like a cult, you know?
It is.
Yeah. It's hard not to see a cult in everything. There's kind of a paranoia aspect to it, too. I'm like, maybe I'm blowing it up in my mind as a cult when it's probably a little bit normal.
I don't know.
Mormons knocking on the door every day. I'm like, that looks really culty. You're wearing the same outfit. You guys slept in the same room, woke up and put the same clothes on, and you're just like mirroring each other to knock on doors. That feels cultish to me.
Dude, I can't believe how many times those guys have come to this apartment. I've had those guys at this apartment like 10 times by now.
Have you ever invited them in?
Yeah, I was doing a live stream with my sister and I invited them in on the live stream.
What'd they say?
You're an opportunist.
Yeah, I was an opportunist.
That's awesome.
And they were okay with being on camera?
I told them we were live and told them who our dad was and stuff. So
nice. What did they have to say about it?
One of them had this pamphlet they wanted to leave with me. And there was kind of this funny moment where I asked one of them, he was trying to give me this pamphlet, and I says, well, do you have an extra one for my dad?
For Warren?
Yeah.
They were probably, I mean, being from a group that was founded in polygamy, they were probably thinking in their minds, you come from good stock. I've literally been told that by people that learn my last name. Like, you come from good stock.
What?
Yeah.
Like, it's a good thing to be in a
It's usually very MAGA-centric people. Like, you come from good stock. Your parents, your dads have the absolute dream for men.
Ew.
Get to collect women.
Yeah, I've had a lot of stake presidents and bishops and church authorities take a lot of interest in me.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey.
You would definitely be an asset to them. I can see that, absolutely.
An asset?
Yeah, because this foundation, we would too, our foundation, if we just zoned back into that mindset.
You just go right back to being the zombie that they always were.
I mean, they train us and brainwash us. We're groomed daily to do exactly what this specific cult needs. So if we could just zone back into that.
Yeah, do you find that based on that, like how it was just so ingrained in us to be brainwashed, to be this robot that wants to be told what to do, when you left, did you find that your next relationship or the people that you're around, you attracted or were attracted to people that were going to kind of like drag you around and tell you what to do?
I have never felt a desire to submit to anybody after I left, but my dating life was affected in the aspect that I felt like I was so inexperienced in dating that I told myself with my first relationship, I was like, beforehand, I said it in my mind, I was like, I'm going to ignore every red flag because I'm probably prejudiced based on my background, and I'm probably looking for way too many problems because of my experience. So I'm just going to ignore all the red flags for the first relationship and try to work through everything because I thought it would make me a better person. And the person I ended up dating was the most gigantic piece of shit on the planet.
Damn.
He was garbage human being, and I knew it, but I ignored those red flags because I set myself up because I thought that I had a mindset that would project things
so you're like
that weren't there.
Escape the order. Now you escape this relationship. You're like, check that off the list. How long was it?
It was a couple of years.
Yeah. Similar thing where, well, I didn't know that it was toxic though. I was just like, oh yay, somebody to tell me what to do. Not thinking I was consciously doing that, but it was like felt safer to have this patriarchal thing because that was what I was comfortable with until it wasn't.
Well, how was your social life after you left? Like right after you left?
Everybody I met, I kept being called a blank slate.
What?
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
And one of the more offensive ones they would call me is eventually I would ultimately people that I would associate with long term, I would eventually tell them where I came from so they'd have an understanding of my social behaviors or whatever. And they would call me blank slate. They would think, oh, that's so cool. They have a ton of questions. But then on top of that, so many of them were like, oh, so you're a lost boy. And that one really offended me. I never understood that. I'm like, I'm not lost. Like, I figured my shit out and got the fuck out of it. I was lost. Like, yeah. But that's just what they call.
That was an FLDS term, wasn't it?
Kind of.
Lost boys, the ones that kind of got pushed out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I was called a lost boy. Well, I had never heard of it until I left, but after I left, everybody was calling me a lost boy. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, that's bad. Like, that's offensive.
Yeah. And
that's
you're
rude.
projecting that onto me when I'm finding myself.
Yeah.
I kind of felt like people treat me that way, but I probably am that way. So, well, I'm getting better, but I'm kind of a blank slate. I wonder why people don't click with me or talk to me, and then I figure out, oh, because you didn't say a fucking thing, or you didn't have any personality.
Oh, you're saying about yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, you weren't proactive, and it's hard.
You just didn't exist.
Yeah.
Kinda. That's kind of what you learn.
It's a whole new world when you're outside of a polygamous group after growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're a completely different way of interacting with people.
Yeah, and learning how to connect to, because the things that we had to survive in our groups was not really how you connect to people out here. And what I've learned is when I'm opening up to someone and I can be deep and vulnerable with them, I'm bonding with them. And then also if they feel safe enough to do that with me, it creates that bond, right? Rather than just listening to them or me just telling them my life story. So
if you want to force yourself, take mushrooms with strangers.
Oh,
You
Oh, then you're probably normal.
like bye.
No, that's what broke me. I was super, super awkward. Even with the people I worked at the diner, they invited me to a party, and I would just sit in the corner like, what the hell am I doing here? And then they passed me some drogas.
Drogas?
And it was all uphill from there. I don't do that anymore, but I do appreciate those few years that helped open me up, which was nice. It was therapeutic.
Have you ever done ketamine?
No, but my therapist said I should.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Cut that part out.
what? Why?
That I did ketamine.
Oh,
I mean, it was prescription, right?
Yes.
well, isn't it good? Good to try, or?
Mm-hmm. It only lasted like 30 minutes, but it's like allows you to just get really deep and vulnerable. Like I feel like I already can somewhat do that depending on the topics, but you're not. The walls just come down, and you can just be.
But they require you, if you're doing it legally, they require you to do it in a controlled environment. So you do have to be in a medical facility with people observing you.
It probably kills the vibes a little bit.
Which when my therapist told me, I want to put you on ketamine, I feel like it would do this and this and this. I was like, fuck yeah. And then she's like, but this is how you have to do it. And I'm like, oh no, thanks.
Could you at least do it like with your husband so you could have that experience together to bond you
That
guys?
might be good. That
Yeah.
might be therapeutic.
Because alone, it would probably feel, unless they're guiding you, but it would feel like a test. Like you're.
No, I was still kind of open to it, but it was just like, when she said that, I was like, maybe not. But she said I also have to have been taking different medications beforehand and things. So it's kind of a process.
Mm-hmm.
But
So do you feel like you've made a lot of progress to being pretty normal now? I mean, I guess
Whatever
I should
normal
never
is.
say normal, because I mean, personally, I don't think I'll ever be like normal in the sense that I fit into everybody's social world.
I like your quirks, Jeffs.
Thank you.
I like you. No, I do pride myself on being a little bit abnormal. So instead of years ago when I first left being super insecure about being abnormal, now I'm like, it is a part of who I am. So the best route we can take is just to kind of accept it and be okay with being abnormal.
Yeah.
Everybody comes from a weird background.
Right.
We all have our quirks.
No such thing as normal. And to be able to just embrace who it is that you are and the genuine person that you
Except
are.
Sam Bateman. Fuck that guy.
Oh yeah, that's true. He's the exception.
Yeah. Him.
Well, he's a cult leader
Yeah.
at the end of the day, so.
I don't know how he got that position. He is unqualified.
Well, he just had the perfect victims, right?
You have to
He
have a
watched the
level
whole
of
thing.
charisma,
Yeah.
and he did not have any of
He
that.
didn't.
Yeah.
Like even you could see it through the screen. It was like, what the? He even seemed unsure of himself at times.
I think he just plopped into a position that was open that nobody else was willing to take or had the immoral mindset to take. But
Right.
he would never have been able to build himself to that position. He had to jump into it when it was opened up
Mhm.
for him.
And that's exactly what it is. The other people that had the opportunity didn't have the, I guess, like perversions that he had, because he was already trying to marry his own daughter before that, right? That's why his wife left him.
Yeah.
So then, of course, when he sees that position that he could have, then he got it. But yeah, he could never be. I've said this too about Paul, in my opinion, could never have started a cult. He could to pick it up where they left off. He is not the kind of person that could find followers. Obviously, Eldon was. But I believe Eldon was very charismatic. And
Oh yeah, you could tell just in his pictures.
in his pictures,
Like in his photos, he looked like a charismatic person. And he's always been described that way.
yeah.
But
Supposedly Paul was in high school, like people really was drawn to him, blah, blah, blah.
he was like the president of whatever
Yeah.
in his school. Class president.
But him now, no. I think we're in the same.
Yeah.
Your dad couldn't have started a cult.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It does take a lot of get up and go that a lot of the takeovers don't seem to have.
Mm-hmm.
But
So how do you feel about your family nowadays?
I do love and respect them. The people that I do still talk to, it's kind of a process of trying to find a middle ground where we can have a relationship and not offend one another. I do call it a kind of a mutual disdain for each other's lifestyle. Like I see you with multiple wives and I'm like, how could you do that to women and not respect them or respect yourself enough to monogamize yourself or whatever? And then they look at me and they're like, how could you be with a dude? It's the same kind of mutual disdain. So we try to avoid those topics, but it's harder than you think.
Really?
It's really hard. And when I bring up my marriage, it spirals fast with a lot of people. So I try to avoid the topic altogether when I'm talking to them, so I can have a semi-functional relationship. But
does a spiral just look like how do you live with yourself? Like they're just shaming you, or
the pattern seems to be that when I bring it up, it always spirals into them telling me they've learned how to respect my lifestyle, but they also want me to be aware that they know I'm going to hell still.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And like my brother has told me recently, like I almost stopped talking to him, but he's told me recently that he loves me and my husband, and he hopes one day we separate and redeem ourselves and find God and pray for forgiveness or whatever for ever having fallen in love in the first place. Two adults loving each other is a mortal sin, apparently.
It's so weird. What a weird verbiage too. Like, I respect you. I respect your decision to go to hell.
Yeah.
Have you ever
lost
seen
so many friends because they tell me that exact same thing. I'm like, why is that common in people's minds? Like,
right.
If you believe that, there's things I don't like about you too, but I keep my mouth shut about them.
But like flat out, they're basically admitting that they know everything, and you're silly, stupid little boy.
Yeah, I tell them, well, I believe the things you're doing is going to send you to hell. How do you like that?
Yeah.
I mean,
what now? Chick?
It's all opinions.
Yeah. Have you seen the most fun argument I have now with people who are like that is the fact that it's thou shalt not kill in the 10 Commandments. But have you seen the kill count for God versus Satan in the Bible?
Mm-mm.
So if you can Google it, it's basically Satan's kill count was around 10, but most of those were with the story of Job. Remember the story of Job where God was like, yeah, you can tempt Job by killing his entire family and he'll still be faithful. So in my opinion, it was still God's kills because he wanted it. So Satan's kill count is 10, and I think God's kill count is in the thousands or millions. Millions.
Yeah.
And that's where we're all trying to fight to get to, by the way.
God is just Satan in a mask. I think most people that believe they're going to heaven in modern society are probably the worst people. Most of them are the worst people on this planet.
I think it's also similar to, like, if you think you're all high and mighty and I'm going to go to heaven, versus the ones that are like just trying their best, trying to do their best. It's similar to like parents that are like, I'm the best mom in the world. And it's usually the one that's like beating the shit out of their kids.
If you're Christian because you want peace, love, and tolerance and acceptance, so things that Jesus supposedly was supposed to teach, then I can respect the hell out of you. And I'll even be able to relate to you on a lot of aspects. But if you're wearing a big old cross, if you're Carolyn fucking Levitt and you're praying before and then you're getting up to defend disgusting wars and a disgusting PDF president, then you're not the Christian that you think you are, and you're probably going to hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carolyn.
Wait, do you believe in heaven and hell?
I want to. I do. When I'm feeling overwhelmed, I do lay in bed and push all my problems off to a higher power, and I just accept that it's going to work out, and that feels really therapeutic to me. But then I'm also like, why are you killing children in Palestine, you stupid prick? And it's just like,
so you don't really believe in God?
I want to, but he doesn't make it easy.
Yeah, it's really difficult.
Yeah, he either doesn't exist or he exists and he's entertained by all of the evil things going on, too entertained to intervene.
Wait, what do you believe?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't know? Yeah.
Well, sometimes how you see these Mormon families and everybody's looks really nice. They look really healthy. They have this nice community. They have this nice church building.
It looks perfect.
Their whole family looks pretty beautiful. They're all together. They have these nice pictures on the wall. You walk into their house and they seem like they all love each other. And then you come to the rest of the world and it seems kind of dysfunctional. And it can sometimes feel like, fuck.
I think the dysfunction is
fucking
honest.
Have that shit. You know what I'm saying? But I think at some point you realize, well, they all are doing what they're told. They're being how they're told. And so none of them can actually be themselves. And that's why they all fit onto their fucking wall perfectly. I don't know.
Pressure.
But you see what I mean? Like sometimes I'm like, why can't we fucking have something like that?
Why can't we all be surrounded in wealth? No, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I do believe the dysfunction is like honesty. I think everybody has a dysfunction. Some people are just better at hiding it. And it would be nice to be in a grand house with everybody wearing clean clothes and everything's perfect. But at the same time, that's all marketing. That's all a mask. If you think about Ruby Frankie, her house seemed beautiful and her life seemed amazing. And millions of people would lift their phones up and stare at her and glorify her, appreciate the way that she operated her family. And on the sidelines, it turns out her and her lesbian partner therapist built a torture camp in the desert for her children.
Yeah.
So they were dysfunctional. They just didn't show it to the public. And that's how a lot of them do it. She was never excommunicated from the Mormon church too, which...
Ruby wasn't?
No, she was not excommunicated, and the therapist also wasn't, which says a lot about, because they brought in millions for the church.
Wow. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I did not know. Which is crazy because John DeLynn was excommunicated.
Which one is that?
John DeLynn on Mormon Stories.
I haven't seen.
You never seen Mormon Stories?
He runs Mormon Stories podcast. And
he got excommunicated because he was digging a little too deep into the Mormon history, right?
Oh, I might recognize him if I saw him now.
Yeah. So he gets excommunicated for that, but Ruby Frankie doesn't get excommunicated for, like, what the hell?
She was dumping cayenne and honey in her son's wounds on their arms and duct taping them and like having them walk in the blazing hot deserts of Utah and cutting up with their feet. He showed up at their neighbor's house after he broke out of the house, and he had tape all over him, and he was cut up, and he was malnourished. He was a skeleton. Skeletor.
Well, when you said a lot of really religious people that believe they're going to heaven are some of the worst people, then I think that kind of shows what you mean. I think a lot of LDS people don't realize that that's what they're capable of if they took their beliefs to the full conclusion. Ruby Frankie isn't some crazy person. She just believed her beliefs more than most other Mormons are willing to take them. And I think that's true about my dad too. Like, he just was willing to push his beliefs more than most Mormons.
And it actually doesn't feel crazy. It feels like, oh, this is just, I'm just doing the work, the extra credit.
Some monsters are born, and some people, they evolve into monsters because they're given too much power, or they're in a position where they feel like they can do things that are justified from their religion.
Yeah. Do you think people like Ruby Frankie and like Daniel Kingston are just like getting off on this abuse? Like, they enjoy it?
There's a different dynamic with Ruby. Someone needs to break down her psyche, but she genuinely believed that God was telling her to do those torturous things to her children. Because she thought they had demons in them that needed to be expelled through pain. And I don't think she enjoyed doing it, except for the aspect of enjoying following God's teachings or whatever.
No, I totally see that.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
Whereas Daniel, I've seen him in person, and I do think that sometimes he does get off on being abusive.
Yeah. And hearing the stories, like I this memory is burned in my brain of how Jessica talked about how he finally got out of jail, and he went straight to Heidi's house and went straight to Jessica to give her her beating, and she was like looking at him, and he was smiling, like it was like he was finally getting his fix.
Yeah, he's a twisted fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry, sis. No. Sorry for talking bad about your husband, but...
I forgot you have a sister married to him.
Yeah.
What is it?
My sister's married to Daniel.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because Daniel has 14 wives. Well, now one left and one passed away.
Out of respect for my sister, I won't very publicly speak about my disdain for Daniel, but I'm doing it more and more.
I feel like she has to also know he's like that, but he also mellowed out as he's gotten older. Now he has a limp.
Now that his sons are strong enough to beat the shit out of him, and he's like, "Oh, I'm a weak old frail old man.
He's like,
I broke your leg 3 years ago, but now you got muscles. Leave me alone."
There's just so many people in the order. Probably like that with FLDS. There's Barlows and Jessups, and then the Barlows that married the Jessups, and
people in the order don't recognize me anymore. Like I ran into some of who was the one that ran Washakie Renewable Energy.
Jacob Kingston?
Jacob Kingston's kids. I met them on Marketplace because I was buying a trampoline from them, and I just recognized their voices as polygamist. I didn't know who they were. But then we got to talking, and had no idea that I was ever from the group. And I'm like, I've really been away that long to where they just don't know who I am anymore. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's weird.
They recognize me and they recognize you because we're doing this.
Yeah.
They're going to recognize you more now.
Probably.
You do have a, well, it's more of like, I wouldn't say Kingston look. It's more of like Rogers family look.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When it does finally click for them, they're like, oh, were you Rogers? I'm like, yeah, that's why I look like all my sisters and my brothers.
Very similar.
So what do you find important nowadays? If you don't really believe in God, what's important in life to you?
I think it's a very narcissistic behavior in humans to believe we're important enough to have an eternity after death. I think that's very narcissistic. I think that, that you deserve some sort of permanence in this universe when everything around you is finite and will end eventually. So I get a lot of peace out of the idea that I will be laid to eternal rest at the age of 65 or 70. Perfectly fine with that. I don't need to go to an afterlife. I don't need to be around my family. Let me sleep forever. And I'm not going to be awake to care.
I like that you can find peace in that. That always gave me anxiety. You know, you said exactly what I was a huge fan of Jennifer, the girl from Hunger Games, Jennifer Lawrence. Until I watched her, this was back when I was married, I watched her say that exact thing. She was like, humans are such narcissists to think that we're going to live forever. Of course humans think that. And I heard her say that. It made me feel some type of way because I wanted to live forever.
No offense, public.
No, but
I don't think I've seen her say that either, so I like her more now.
Yeah. And it's an interesting topic because we are the only creatures really but we're also the only creatures that can really think about and understand that there's going to be death and what's going to happen after that. And it's scary because we've only ever known existing.
Well, people say that, and that's the argument always, but we do understand what it's like to not exist because there's Earth's history where we didn't exist.
Yeah.
Before we were born, we didn't exist and things were existing. And after we die, things are going to continue to exist, whereas you're not going to be existing.
What about the idea, though, of have you ever had a ghost experience or a spiritual experience that you couldn't explain?
I think I was hallucinating on drugs, so I don't think...
Not that one.
I don't think that one can be called ghosts.
Mm.
No, they have Hiawatha, the polygamous group we come from, Order has Hiawatha, which is a ghost town, an old mining ghost town. Mm-hmm. And I have had paranormal-esque experiences there. We took a picture and we saw the outline of a woman in white, praying. And
really?
And it was pretty terrifying and just weird things would happen around the house. But I have a very rational mind, I think. So I was like, it was just very, very convenient lighting, maybe.
Yeah, I've had experiences similar where because there was other people that witnessed it, if it was alone, I would have convinced myself I was crazy. But because other people witnessed it, my brain still can't fully understand, but it wants to believe that there is souls and spirits. But I also don't understand how that can exist while I'm in this existence. But I want to be able to get to a point where I am at peace, whatever the outcome is with death. I'm at peace with it. Because I get some of my panic attacks would be because of that. Like, what happens when we die? It's so scary.
I think we all have that anxiety.
You kind of want to live forever.
Well, and because we were taught.
Yeah.
You're all narcissists.
Narcissist. I want to live forever.
I don't think that.
Fuck.
No.
But it's because I believe it's not necessary. Well, maybe it is narcissistic because we were raised by narcissists, but it's also because we were raised that this was the layout, right?
Yeah.
You have all the answers. If you do all these things, then you're going to get celestial church. So all these answers to your questions, then all of a sudden gone. It fucks your system.
Yeah, it does fuck. That fucked me.
Yep.
I think there's also I think there's peace in the fact that we all end eventually, so it's not like something that's happened to me. That if I lived in a world, for example, where Donald Trump was going to have an eternal existence, I would burn this motherfucker down.
Got it.
The peace I find is that he's going to be gone soon, hopefully very soon, of natural causes. But if he was going to have some sort of permanence, I would freak the fuck out.
Sorry, this is going to shift the tone a little bit because it's not anything to do with the order, but it's a little culty topic. and conspiracy, the shooting that happened, was that faked?
What shooting?
Trump getting shot.
There's been multiple. There was like 30 shots that went off at the White House itself. Like the press caught the sounds of it. It was more recent. But I think the one you're talking about is at the...
Where it nicked his ear?
Oh, he's had a lot of those.
What?
Because the correspondence dinner, not that hit his ear, the correspondence dinner was the most recent. So I assume that's what you were talking about. But that one was fake, I believe. The camera, somebody caught on their phone, him running to the back corner and being protected. And then as soon as he got out of view of where he thought the actual cameras were, they were catching the whole thing that he set up. He stops, he stands up, and he turns around and he starts watching everything happen. He's freaked out, and then you see him turn around. It's like, oh. And when someone released that, and then news press asked him about it, and he's like, oh yeah, I wanted to see if there was anything I could do to help. I was like, dude, I have literally watched somebody have a heart attack behind you, and you acted like they were a massive inconvenience to you. You didn't lift a finger, you fat fuck.
You don't care.
Yeah. Such a pain in the ass. And so I think all of his shootings, conveniently timing as they are, I think there's a lot to be said about faking it, setting it up.
Yeah.
Now we need a secure ballroom because the president.
Yeah, because there's benefits that they get afterwards. So convenient, yeah. Yeah, I had a similar opinions. Do you watch a lot of that stuff, or you just kind of stay out of politics?
I haven't been near as involved, but that one with his ear was definitely a big one. I definitely saw that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a big one.
That's interesting.
The recent ones have been pretty weird, you know.
What?
That one was... Yeah, that...
I mean, his ear grew back in 2 days. He's half chameleon or else he's a liar. There was only two options.
Yeah, I don't know what happened that day.
And then he had the cameras perfectly slide into position as an active shooter, like the no noises. And people catch this on camera. They act like there's not cameras in everybody's pockets. But his own camera staff slide up to the front and they're lowering the flag to the perfect position to take a picture of him with blood dripping out of his ear when there's somebody actively shooting, if it's an emergency like that. And then he stands up to cheer when they don't know how many people could possibly potentially be trying to assassinate him. Just like, yeah, America.
Yeah, that was weird as hell.
Like, yeah, and then he is the most vain person on the face of the earth, but he shuts down the investigation and he doesn't talk about it anymore.
Weird.
Well, yeah, because he's president now. He could investigate that harder.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I don't even know the shooter's name.
You know, it's giving Paul Kingston when his own child died. And he's like, no, you guys are just trying to prosecute us for living polygamy. Lay it to rest. It's like, it's your child.
Yeah, you guys suffer so much.
Guilty. Michelle talked about that, right? On
what? Oh, yeah.
Baby dying. Yeah, a crazy story.
Dan Kingston basically killed a kid.
No, Jesse, her dad.
Oh yeah,
Jesse Kingston. I think Daniel's responsible for a lot of.
But he did like hit a 2-year-old or something.
Daniel?
Yeah, didn't he?
I'm sure many. Yeah, I'm sure so
many. It wasn't his kid.
It was someone else's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Jesse.
Because Andrew was telling me his mom went to jail for it.
Oh, Patricia went to jail for something similar? Where so she took the fall for Daniel beating up a kid? Because Patricia did a daycare, I'm pretty sure, right? And so
I don't know.
Same story. Yeah, I mean, I believe that. Because it just happens so much there. And like, it's so common for the men to be like, I don't want to take the fall. Anybody else? Okay, you. Even if it's their own wife, their own kids, they don't care. And that's why I believe Jacob Kingston went to prison for that biodiesel fraud. They were letting Jacob Kingston do all of that. They were benefiting from all the money, but they were happy that his name was on it because they knew he was going to go down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then he did. So very common practice.
How much? $500 million of fraud?
Half a billion.
$500 million.
Yeah, that's $500 million, right?
I think so.
$500 million.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, that is a lot of money.
Yeah. I don't know how they thought they could get away with it. Fucking morons.
Yeah, well, I think that I believe Daniel and them didn't think that he would, but they were just trying to stifle as much as they could until they knew the inevitable was going to happen. Maybe they didn't know that Rachel was going to go too, Daniel's wife, right? But yeah, his wife.
She was the one orchestrating all of it.
Yeah,
of course she was going to go down.
Teaching them how to do all this fraud. Yeah, and then she gets cancer, and I think she died in jail, didn't she?
Did she? Oh, that's kind of sad.
Yeah. Jacob's mom also went to prison
really?
for the fraud because she
Oh.
was teaching them how to steal all of that.
Okay.
And if she has all that know-how, what else are they doing?
Right. This is the only one that we know of, right? Well, the biggest one that we know of. There's so much more going on behind closed doors.
I mean, they're cheating in high school to get the best scores. We get them into college, their students into college with great GPAs when they really don't know fuck shit.
Yeah, and then they're taking millions in public funding for the Vanguard school that's supposed to be public school funding, but it's not a public school. So they heard that they have something that they're paying to constantly try to find loopholes in the government to just bleed the beast and take as much money as possible.
Is that investigation still ongoing with Vanguard?
I don't know.
Because they were funneling all the public money into order businesses that were unaffiliated and just paying suspiciously high prices for basic needs.
What's that called? Laundering?
I think it's laundering, fraud.
So there's like all, because they have to be public with where their funding is going. So this whole list is just all order businesses, a bunch of random ones.
And then didn't they post somebody from the public in the school because their excuse was that they didn't know, they weren't familiar, so they gave them the resources to learn how to do things appropriately, and they basically pushed them out, shouldered them, made everything uncomfortable for the stranger until they were gone.
This sounds familiar,
Yeah.
but I'm not.
I read an article, but I don't know the specific.
Because they don't want public teachers there.
Yeah, because the 14-year-old high school students are pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. Yeah. Was everybody cheating like that? You know, just in life, and how are being such a game? Do you believe in cheating at all, or
cheating on your wives and husbands? And stuff?
No, just like cheating in life, like.
I mean, if you can get away with it and you don't have too many victims, that's fine. But
Too many.
if you have a ton of victims in modern society, with Trump as the head, he'll probably, if you slip him a few dollars, he'll probably give you a pardon. So go for it.
I think if you're cheating in life, a lot of the times you're cheating yourself. If you, the more genuine I've been able to be, the more it's echoed in my personal life. But yeah, I can see like how it could be tempting to just be like, just like my father, just cheat my way to the top. But that's why I believe that most people at the top are narcissists, because they're okay with stepping on as many people as it takes to get to the top. So the shitty thing is now everyone that's running everything is narcissists.
I do believe that there is accountability coming for anybody who does significant fraud or cheating like that. I have faith in our country enough to know that it's super, super slow progress, but eventually everybody will get their comeuppance. And it might not be soon enough because Trump is 80, so he might die before he's been held accountable. But if he, as a Christian, if there is an afterlife, he's going to hell, he'll be held accountable anyway, so fuck it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I would hope so. I thought you didn't believe in an afterlife.
I said if.
Narcissist.
I stepped in Trump's shoes. I am a narcissist. Fuck you.
I must be too.
I think we all have, so there's like 12 traits that if you have all of them, you're definitely a narcissist. I think we all have at least, if we're being honest with ourselves, we have at least 2 or 3 that we struggle with.
I ain't taking that test.
I think I did, and I didn't like the results.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you were more narcissistic than you wanted to be?
It was years ago, but a buddy had me take it. I think he felt very strongly that I didn't take it. When I first left the group, because I was a massive dick when I left. Like I was closeted, so there was that aspect of like hating myself because I was closeted and wasn't open to anything. So I was very short-tempered, blunt. I was very rude. Like I would actively offend people, and it wasn't like I was trying to. It just was my personality at the time. Yeah. So he's like, take this test, and eventually I came out of the closet, and now I can tune back into that when I need to.
Really?
But I'm only an ass when I need to be.
Is it usually like the bully before you get bullied, or what? Yeah, you tap into that.
Wasn't there's healthy narcissism, right?
Some people say that.
That's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, like you can't be too willing to be run over. You got to like stand up for yourself.
You can't always be submissive or
yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I have heard this topic of like to be able to tap into a little bit of the arrogance so that you can go follow your dreams more rather than being like, I could never do anything. If you can't genuinely believe that you can, then tap into the delusion for a little bit so that you can go chase your dreams that the normal you would be like, I can't, I'm unworthy, you know?
I see that.
Yeah.
But it tapped in and out.
I think if I never thought of the concept before you brought it up, but if you were able to be a healthy narcissist, I think that if it was productive and you didn't have any victims of your narcissism, if you were like protective, productive, and nobody got hurt.
Oh yeah, that's what a therapist told me that.
Oh really?
Yeah.
You've gone to therapy? That's
I hate the word therapy. It feels embarrassing.
Does it trigger you?
Yeah, it feels embarrassing. What's another word? Counselor.
You'd rather counselor?
I don't know.
How long have you been?
Feels less embarrassing.
Counselor?
Yeah.
You got your head shrunk?
Yeah.
How did you like it? How long did you take therapy?
Oh, that was just one session.
But it helps.
And you got a little taste.
In that one session, they said something about healthy narcissists.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
They're like, you're a straight up sociopath. We don't need to continue.
Case closed.
I can't help you.
Was it through Holding Out Help? Or?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
No, it's just a local one here.
And it turned you off? You were like, nope.
I loved my therapy. It was like a year. That was a decent amount of therapy. Like the most aggravating part was that it was the same day every week. And so I just knew the day prior I had to like evaluate something from my past that really upset me. And I had to let myself dive into it so that I'd have something to talk about in therapy the next day. And that got exhausting. But
yeah, you're emotionally going there.
Yeah, I got tired of complaining and bitching about things that are in the past. And I think that was kind of the point for me to realize that I needed to stop complaining about a spanking that happened 30 years ago.
Yeah. So what do you think should happen to the order nowadays? Like to Paul and everybody?
I think the fact that we are keeping a light on it is keeping them, holding themselves a little bit more accountable so it's not nearly as negative. I would love for them to be dissolved and for all of them to find a functional way to be. I don't mind them being polygamist as long as the women are also able to seek out love when the man's a little piece of shit. But realistically, I do think they are going to continue to exist. They're probably going to be the next Mormons, and they're going to be the Mormons that were able to stay polygamist, because the Mormons only quit polygamy because the state threatened to stop funding them.
Yeah. Well, in order for Utah to become a state, right, they had to denounce it.
Right.
But you think they're going to keep growing?
I mean, they'd have to. They're in the thousands now.
They're over 10,000 at least, right?
And the worst things that they've done are all in the past. So as far as I know, I mean, they've done a lot of things that would get people canceled, and they're not canceled. They're
still currently doing underage child marriages to uncles, forcing incest. So it's not necessarily in the past. I do believe that they're a cancer, but I believe they're like a tumor that if you try to rip it out, the host will die, basically, type thing. Like if so, because my brain is like, if we get rid of Paul and like, let's say somehow they all go to prison, then the next leaders would just come up and it would just keep going. So how do you rip out the tumor?
I mean, we have to let the tumor, I think taking the tumor out would kill the host. They're just too, what I mean is they're too ingrained into society right now. The economy, the Utah economy is boosted. I mean, highly reliant. Yeah.
Wow.
They're worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And also they have lobbyists fighting for their cause. And they have all the things that corrupt people are able to obtain so they aren't brought down. They have all those protections. They have a corporation that builds weapons, like designer weapons, or what's the word?
Desert tactical
experimental weapons and things. Like they're set for life. If shit goes down, they're set. Like I don't see any world in which they're brought down, or else it would have happened. In the documentary that talked about the polygamous leaders' wives in hiding, they mentioned that they only stopped pursuing those warrants because they expired, and I believed him at that point. But then I did the research, and the judge has to retract DNA warrants. They don't just expire. So something convinced that judge and the district attorney to just give up on pursuing any charges for Paul.
The bribe, you think?
He's in the pockets, I believe. Like, that's a very fair assessment.
Yeah, I totally believe that. That's how you play the game.
I mean, yeah. More power to you as long as you stop fucking teenagers, I guess.
What do you think about relationships that are polygamous type relationships outside of cults? And like, do you think those work out, or
Like,
are you okay with them?
One?
Yeah.
Wait, say that again? What?
I'm just wondering what you think about polygamous or other odd relationship situations outside of like the polygamous or the cults.
So strip religion away from it. There's this family that just wants to be, I guess, polygamous. What about polyamory?
I think that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I think polyamory seems more even. Polygamy,
realistic.
I can't even picture a polygamous family that's not rooted in religion.
Some kind of. Yeah, I was going to say polyamory. It might sound super pick me to say, but I'm a firm believer in equal between the partners. So if you're expecting your partner to stay loyal to you, you should be loyal to them. But polyamory is this exception where I have dipped my toe in. It's not for me, but I also respect anybody who wants polyamory, because the woman can also seek out things she's missing in the relationship. So I think there's a healthy aspect to it, much more healthy than the man possessing the woman and also wanting to possess more women. Mm-hmm. So as long as there's no victims and everybody has freedom and there's no societal guilt or pressure, I think we'll live whatever life you want.
Yeah. I've been thinking a lot about this, but you know, when two people are married and then let's say one of the people in the marriage gets really like into another person, like in their feelings, mm-hmm. like they're just really fucking into this other person. Is it evil to like fuck that other person because you were being loyal to the other to your partner, or is it evil? Like what actually makes it evil? What actually makes it wrong? Is it tradition? Is it just because we are narcissists and have to make sure we
possess the other person? Yeah.
Or is it genuine, like the best way?
I think that if a person, I don't know that everyone's monogamous. I think that some people thrive in monogamy and some people would rather polyamory, or some people shouldn't even have relationships because they can't even have a relationship with themselves. But I think that
You talking about me? I'm just joking.
Are you having a relationship with yourself?
He's like, hey!
Are you dating your hands?
Out of this. But I do believe that for me, if the person, if you and your partner are just honest with each other and you're able to, because the part that feels wrong is the dishonesty and the disloyalty. But if there's a conversation, if you're on the same page with your partner all the time, it's never going to feel like there's this betrayal, you know? But
I think it's fair to allow people to make mistakes in their 20s and accept that they're going to make mistakes in a relationship. I do think it's very immature if you're like 30 or 40 and you're married and you want to pursue other people without some sort of arrangement or discourse with your partner. There has to be an agreement for it to be not evil, how you put it. But if your wife is sitting at home taking care of your children and you're off fucking your secretary, then there's probably something a little immoral about that. Mm-hmm. Tell your wife about it. If she doesn't like it, get a divorce. If she's okay with it, then you can continue doing it and everybody wins.
Right. It's the betrayal part, really.
I mean, in my marriage, I'll allow, we've talked about it and we don't pursue it very often, but I tell my husband, if you genuinely feel like you would be happier and healthier, if you went and sowed some oats for a while, go ahead and do it. Like, just stay safe.
Yeah, and we were just talking about that. The option to explore creates this where you don't want to explore because you don't feel confined to this strict relationship.
You want what you can't have, and you want something a little bit. I think all humans want a little bit of toxicity in their life as much as we denounce it. But when you allow it in your relationship, just like as soon as we started, I used to be monogamous with him and there was jealousy and discomfort. But as soon as we opened up that side of things, neither of us ever feel the desire to. And if he did, I really wouldn't care.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, well, I see this so much where people get hooked on somebody else and they go years just dying.
Wait, so like they're married and they're just like obsessed with someone that's not their wife?
Yeah. Wow. Or the other way. And You know, it's just like, how long does that have to happen? I don't know.
We're still stuck to the boomer tendencies where we expect the only way to respect a married couple is if they commit to each other forever. We still have a little bit of that grasp, but we're becoming more modern where that doesn't have to exist anymore. Like if you're sick in your relationship,
Right.
walk away from it.
Yeah, and who cares? There's no like obligation to die in this marriage. But based on what you're just saying, that scenario, I guarantee, because I've seen this a lot, where the guy's obsessed with that girl, right? And he's like, my bitch wife's in the way. Then they get a divorce and they get to have that dream girl, but it was only a dream girl because it was beyond reach.
Yes.
And now that they're together, they're not compatible.
Yeah, it happens again. Now they want somebody else.
You want the fantasy, but once you have the reality, it's not that great.
That's true. Yeah. And I guess that's the part that maybe committing to somebody and understanding that might be the best thing, you know?
Yeah, understanding that part of life and also not wanting to possess and control your partner. Understanding that you're both human. You're both, them being attracted to someone else isn't something to do with you, you know? But we attach ourselves so much to our partners. Like, don't look at them! Like, now it's a problem that I'm having.
Yeah.
I am now ugly because she is pretty.
Yeah, but like the stories we hear about Mormon swinging and stuff, the reason why those kind of things happen, I think, is because they have been so faithful all their lives and they're fucking tired of it.
Right.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And they're teens, half of them, when they're getting married and pregnant, and all these responsibilities on them. They never got to explore anything.
Yeah. If you're a teen, 18, and you get married to a husband that's 18, and then now you're 27 and you have a couple kids, and the only thing you can do is fuck your best friend's husband or whatever, and then swing, then fuck.
Then go for it. I have a lot more respect for those type of couples that'll go out and swing and let themselves sow some oats. Much more respect than the couple who's 90 years old and resenting each other and still wears their 90s to bed and won't touch each other.
Yeah.
Like, go fuck your neighbor. Just make it mutual between everybody. Like, you're good.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Well, did we miss anything important that you felt like we needed to talk about, or?
I think we did cover a lot of it. Do you have any more questions?
Or any stories part of your life stories that you felt like we skipped over?
Well, that's the fun thing about podcasts, and I need to get more into mine. There's a lot to talk about, so we didn't necessarily miss anything. We just covered a portion.
Yeah, you need to get that, like, leave the link down below for Life Out of Order.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be coming out with more videos, right?
Yes, I've been doing TikToks, but I'm going to commit to doing more YouTube videos.
Yeah. Well, Amanda, do you have any more questions or thoughts about this whole situation?
To bear my testimony.
Yes.
I think that we covered most of it. Yeah.
When did you leave your situation?
Oh God, I've only been gone for real for like 4 years.
Oh, because you're still a blank slate. I wasn't going to say anything, but he's a little bit misinformed.
Misinformed?
About like society. Like,
that's fair.
Yeah. No, I mostly mean that I recognize myself in you, but I thought you were gone for about the same amount of time. So I was like, you should have been over that by now, but
yeah,
we'll give you a year or two.
Okay.
The fact that you're able to jump into this though, that quick afterwards is, I mean, it's hard, but you're ballsy to be able to do that. So many people like want to kind of pretend it never happened for a while, just go living their life over here, pretending they were never traumatized. But you're like jumping right into it.
That is cool.
Might be why you get some panic attacks here and there because it's hard.
I wouldn't have been able to do that when I left. I didn't want to talk about it. So that is really cool. You're able to.
Pat yourself on the back for that.
Thank you. Thank you for the pat on the back. I need that.
So how old were you when you decided that you didn't want to have multiple wives, or do you still?
Do you still want multiple wives?
I wondered if I was ever going to have any wife, because my dad was in prison, and nobody could get married. So I was like, well, I might never get married.
And you were completely committed to adhering to that when you said that? Really?
I mean, I have a brother that's almost 40, And he's never had sex. He's a fucking virgin.
So
he's a fucking virgin.
There's no part of you at all that thought that was unrealistic request of him to give you, not to be married ever?
Well, you know the story of Isaac in the Bible, Isaac of old, you know, how he waited till he was like 40 or whatever. That's a big story in the FLDS.
Really?
Yeah, he waited till he was like 40 or something to get married. He was a fucking virgin or whatever.
That is fascinating.
That's my brother though. He fucking hasn't even looked at a fucking girl.
And he's okay with that?
Yeah, if I made a joke about some girl's ass or something, he would be so dang uncomfortable.
What?
Do you still think it'd be a sin for you to get married? Like you're not following your father's?
Oh, no way.
Oh,
yeah.
No? Okay.
Oh, I've had, you know, I guess you could say I'm definitely not a virgin anymore. You know?
Okay.
You could say pretty much I'm definitely not a virgin anymore.
I got it.
It's kind of funny though, because like I have a brother who has a kid, and we were joking the other day, like, nah, he's still a virgin. He's definitely still a virgin because he found this one girl and they had a kid, but he's still a fucking virgin.
They did artificial insemination or something.
Well, it's just like they don't know how to do a relationship, really.
What percentage of your immediate family is still a part of the group?
You mean my dad's family? Warren Jeffs family?
Mm-hmm.
God, I want to say like out of his 79 wives, a good 30 have left. The rest are still there.
Have any of them, I've heard rumors that some of them joined the Kingston group. Is that true?
Yeah. One of Sam Bateman's wives, after he went to prison, she's marrying into the order. Did you hear that?
I didn't.
Well, I want to thank you for diluting the bloodline a little bit.
Dilute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Yeah, I think they accumulate wives from multiple different groups. It's almost like they're waiting for all the other groups to falter so they can scavenge the wives or whatever.
Yeah, take them over. I mean, why else would they have bought your guys' compound?
Yeah.
They bought that South Dakota compound.
And they'll take the men in too that need it badly, but they won't. It's kind of like a weird environment that they won't give them wives, but they give them the presents they're going to give them wives because your sister's going to be mine type of thing.
Yeah. Like Tom Green was able to join because he had so many women that were coming in with him. And then as soon as he dies, all of his wives are married. All the girls are getting married. None of the boys got married.
Mm-hmm.
That's the dynamic.
Yeah, that's interesting about the Kingstons though, is they're still letting people join. If it really works out for them, they'll let somebody join.
But not FLDS?
No, not really. Like it was really hard to join the FLDS if you're on the outside.
And they're literally sending people out to get you to join the Mormons. Everybody has a different kind of way to get people.
Yeah, I used to think the AUB was going to be the biggest polygamous group because they still did missionary stuff. Like that's where they had people moving from England to be a part of this group. But they're seeming smaller and smaller now. They're kind of dwindling. That's Cody Brown's group.
Harder and harder for missionaries to take people in because we have so much information available to us now that we're like,
cult.
Yeah, Joseph Smith slept with a 14-year-old, and he said it's because an angel came down with a sword and threatened him. Like, that's a little bit suspicious.
Yeah.
Do you not think?
Isn't that interesting? Well, that's why they don't share that story anymore.
And then his wife caught him, and he's like, oh, no, it wasn't me. Like, accountability is on this spiritual being.
I didn't even want to do it. They made me.
It was an obligation. Yeah, you wanted that 14-year-old.
Yeah.
So dumb.
But it's getting harder and harder for them to collect people because we have that information, access to that information, and it's just easier for us to shut them down now that we know your foundation is cracked.
Right. You have Wikipedia too, where if someone were to like look up the order or like all of this stuff that's public about it, even the AUB, like you have so much knowledge of history now as it's happening. So why would you join?
Yeah, when missionaries knock on my door, I tell them, no offense, but I came from a polygamous group, so we're like predating you, and also we don't get along like our two groups. So it's like, so we're kind of, we're not going to get along. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be rude, but I'm like, okay, bye.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to invite, if they come again, I'm going to invite them in on the podcast.
For sure.
Pushing them down, yeah.
That's awesome. I would watch that.
What would your top questions be?
I think I would start nice and then just be like, well, what do you guys think about Joseph Smith marrying a 14-year-old?
Really grill into them. Yeah, hell yeah. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
You give them something sweet and then poison them.
I asked the missionaries, like, well, I just don't know about Joseph Smith having multiple wives. And they were like, he didn't do that. And I was like, yeah, he did. And they were arguing with me. And I was like, go on LDS.org, your own website. And I showed them where it was at. I'm like, why are you a missionary if you don't even know this stuff? Get out.
Yeah.
Scram.
You know more than they do.
I'm like teaching them.
I know more than most of the president of the states I've talked to.
Really?
Yeah. Like I know history a lot better than a lot of the president of the states or bishops even. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, you didn't know that? Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Isn't it insane that they want to get rid of the name Mormon now and they want us to be called FLDS because there's such a negative connotation to the word Mormon, but it's like you'd established that.
Right.
You don't get to change your name. The disease follows you.
Like, the Book of Mormon. That was them.
And now they're offended when people call them Mormons.
Yeah.
But then they're suing John Dehlin for using in his podcast his Mormon stories. So they're suing him to try to shut him up. I wonder if they're going to sue Secret Lives of Mormon Wives for the same reason.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, aren't those girls Mormon?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they're Mormons.
But
suing
the name because they copyrighted it. So that's the contradiction. You copyrighted the name, it's your name, but then when people call you Mormons, you get offended.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. You're just never happy.
Yeah. Well, Josh, do you want to shout out your channel and I guess Amanda too?
Yeah, so it's called A Life Out of Order on YouTube. I can't remember what my TikTok is called.
Is it just Josh Kingston?
I think
I'm pretty
it's
sure
just Josh Kingston.
when you look up Josh Kingston, you pop up because that's a pretty original name.
Paddle Wagon, I think also.
Paddle Wagon?
I think so, yeah. my dad used to say, get over here, I'll paddle your little red wagon. And so I changed it. I'm like, he used to beat me. Let's market it that. But
you should make merch with that.
I should.
Paddle
your wagon.
Paddle wagon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, me and Josh have done some videos together too. So if you go to my channel or his channel, there's a collab on there if you want to watch it. I forgot my microphones though, so the sound quality's not.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was kind of shifty. We both need to get set up like this one.
I know. I finally have good stuff to travel with, but I need to be able to find a ring light that I can travel with that gives good lighting too. But while I'm here, we should do a little update on everything.
Okay.
And I want to see your kitty cats. He has Sphinx cats, like the naked cats.
The hairless ones.
I don't.
They're so cute.
You don't know what they are?
Yeah,
they don't have any hair. They look like naked mole rats, but they're gigantic.
Oh, dang.
They're cute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, guess if you don't have anything else to say, you have any final words for us?
I think that it'd be cool, like in a few months down the line, to do this again, but you come on my channel and I want to interview you.
Sure.
I'm gonna lay into you.
Okay. I'll be preparing for it.
Because that's a fascinating sub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So stay tuned, guys. Yeah, a Kingston and a Jeffs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Versus.
Let's do it.
That'd be cool. Yeah. All right.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
like
guys.
and subscribe. Go follow Josh and Amanda on their channels, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for
Peace
watching. Bye.